Hi everyone! This week we are going to be talking about surface area and lateral area of pyramids and cones. First, let's review a little bit of vocabulary. Lateral area is sides only, no bases. So you're just going to calculate the area of the sides. The surface area includes the sides and the bases. So you're going to add up all of the areas of all of the sides and the area of the bases. If there's more than one base, then you would add in both of them. So we're talking about the entire surface for surface area. Now, one phrase that you have not seen yet that is kind of important is this in terms of pi. In terms of pi means that you're going to leave your answer, you're going to simplify your answer, but you're not going to type pi into the calculator. You are not going to do that. So your final answer might look something like 8 pi or 12 pi. Those are in terms of pi. That's what that looks like. So an example of a problem that is written in terms of pi, if I were to calculate the area of a circle with a radius of 4, written in terms of pi, I'm looking for area, so that's why I've got area is equal to pi times radius squared. And so I've substituted that radius is 4, so I've got pi times 4 squared. Now, in terms of pi just means I'm going to calculate the 4 squared, but I'm not going to use my calculator after I get that to multiply by pi. I'm just going to leave pi on the end of my answer here. So this 4 squared will get simplified to be 16, and then my final answer is just 16 pi. That is in terms of pi. Now, we are going to be talking about pyramids and cones. One of the things you need to know about pyramids is that when we name the pyramid, we name the base, the shape of the base first. So because this pyramid here has a square base, we call it a square pyramid. So this is the shape of the base. So a hexagonal pyramid has a hexagon for the shape of the base. Now, we've also got two different kinds of heights here. We have got a slant height, which is the one that you're going to be working with here for surface area. It is basically if you were to take a ride and slide down the face of that pyramid, right? If you were to slide all the way down is the path you would take perpendicular to that base. So this slant height, that is the height of this triangle here, and that is what we're going to be using in our calculations for surface area. We do also have the actual height of the pyramid. So if you were to drop a penny from the peak of the pyramid straight down through the center of the pyramid, that's how tall it would be, how far that penny would go before it reaches the ground. That line itself is called an altitude. And the length of that line is the height. So this is the actual height. We use H to represent the height of the pyramid, and we use a cursive L to represent slant height. So on the face of the pyramid, that line right there is represented with an L in the formulas, and this measurement right here, this is our height, and so that's represented with an H in the formulas. Okay, so here are the formulas. The lateral area for a pyramid. Lateral area, basically what we're doing is we're finding the area of all of these triangular faces. So we've got to find the area of those triangles and add them all up. A shortcut way to do this is just to use the formulas. Now, of course, you can just use the area of a triangle formula and then multiply it by 4 because we've got 4 sides here if you'd like. But the shorter way to do this is to do 1/2 times P stands for perimeter. And that L, that stands for our slant height. Now this isn't just any perimeter, this is the perimeter of the base. Okay, so two things that you need in order to calculate the lateral area of a pyramid. You need to figure out what's the perimeter of the base. So how far is it all the way around the bottom of this thing? That's going to be the P here. That's perimeter of the base. Okay, and then you also need to find your slant height. And the slant height is if you were to slide down the middle of the face of this pyramid, remember. If you were to slide down the center, that's your slant height. Now, lateral area for a cone is very, very similar. We're going to take pi times our radius times our slant height. So the radius that you're going to have is coming straight from the circular base. So make sure that you know what that is first. This is going to be your radius. And then again, if you were to slide down the side of this cone, that measurement right there, that is your slant height. That L, that's slant height. Okay, so to find lateral area, that means the area of just the side, not the circular base, but just the sides. Pi times radius times slant height. Okay, now problem 1 says, what is the surface area of a pentagonal pyramid with base edges equal to 10, the apothem is 6, and the slant height is 22? Okay, that's a lot of information. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to just first of all write down my formula for surface area of a pyramid. I know that formula is the base area, and I have to add to that 1/2 of that base perimeter times the slant height. So I have a lot of things I got to do here. I got to find that base area. Now let's talk about the shape of the base, because it looks as though this is a regular polygon, right? And we know how to find the area of a regular polygon. I'm just going to write the formula off to the side here. Area of a regular polygon is 1/2 times apothem times perimeter. Now that's going to be for the shape of the base. This is the base here. So we have to use that, and that's going to help us find our base, our area of our base. So I'm going to fill this formula in. I'm going to replace this B with a 1/2 times apothem times perimeter, because that's going to help us find the area of our base. So now I've got my surface area, because I've identified the kind of object or the kind of shape I have on the base here. I'm going to use the formula for that. So since it's a regular polygon, I'm using the formula for the regular polygon. 1/2 times apothem times perimeter. And I'm going to add to that my 1/2 times perimeter of the base times my slant height. So now I just have to put the numbers on my picture and fill it in. So it looks as though I've got base edges of 10, so I could put 10 all the way around this thing. I've got an apothem that is a length of 6. So remember, the apothem goes from the center of that polygon and is perpendicular to the edge, and that measurement is 6. And the slant height is 22. So remember, slant height is if we were to take a trip down the center of the face here, that's the slant height. That slant height is 22. Okay, so let's start plugging into our formula. Now I've got surface area is equal to 1/2 apothem. The apothem, now remember, this is on the base. This is our base area here. So the apothem on the base was this 6. So I've got 1/2 times 6 times the perimeter of that base. So I've got 10 on each side, 5 sides, so that means my perimeter of my base is going to be 50. Now I'm going to add to that. Now this is my lateral area, remember. My 1/2 times perimeter of my base, again, is 50, times that slant height that they gave me. They gave me slant height here is 22. So I'm going to plug that in. And now this is just a simple calculation on the calculator. So we will have surface area is equal to 1/2 of 6 is 3 times 50 gives us 150. And then we've got 1/2 of 50 is 25. Let me pull up my calculator here. And 25 times 22 gives us 550. So I've got plus, oops, sorry, 550. I misspoke, 550. So 150 plus 550, our total surface area is 700. Okay. There we go. I will make another recording here for the following problems.